I don't even want to call it biohack. I don't want to call it recovery tool. It is a absolute necessity. You must be sleeping. And listen, if you are not first and foremost trying to optimize your sleep when it comes to increasing your fitness and your recovery and your health and your muscle mass, you are wasting your time and money. Hello and welcome to the Weaponized Body Podcast. I am your host, Dr. Ryan Hewitt. And as always, I'm coming to you with a topic in the realm of recovery, performance, and health, in metabolic movement and mindset. And today, I'm going to share with you my Love It or Leave It recovery episode. As a chiropractor and coach, I get questions constantly from men and women about recovery tools and ways they spend their money. Ranging from things like cold plunges, saunas, PEMF mats, IV therapies, percussion guns, massages, chiropractic adjustments, compression boots, Kinesio tape, and the list goes on and on. And the truth of the matter is, I think everybody wants to recover faster, feel less sore, build more muscle. Because of that, there is a monster industry out there that wants to prey on your quick fix it, gadget, easy button instincts and mentality. Because these recovery hacks are, sexy. And everybody wants like the latest and greatest when it comes to like what's going to give them that edge or that boost or that hack that's going to get them bigger, stronger, faster, etc. The truth is, most of them are a complete waste of money. Now, I'm going to start this episode off with a caveat that what I'm speaking about is in the direction of building muscle and improving fitness. Okay. We're not talking about elite competitors. We're not talking about ways that you could feel better momentarily, etc. So, I'll try to keep that theme or that overriding narrative for you today, that we're just speaking specifically about the goal of increasing your fitness and recovering in order for you to build more muscle. Because truly, that should be most people's focus when it comes to fitness. Aside from having fun and building cardiovascular fitness and building muscle, of course, is one of those things that should be a big priority. Why the hell else would you be doing it? So today we're going to answer which of those things actually help you recover and build muscles, and which ones are just hype. From a scientific perspective, from an N=1 perspective of things that I've tried, things I've observed, and lots of clinical cases that I've been managing over the last 18 years. But before we dive in, we always have to start off by saying, I'm going to be very crystal clear that the most powerful recovery tools in the world are free, 100% free. Okay, number one is sleep. I've done episodes on sleep. We talk about sleep often and how that is the number one. I don't even want to call it biohack. I don't want to call it recovery tool. It is a absolute necessity. You must be sleeping. And listen, if you are not first and foremost trying to optimize your sleep when it comes to increasing your fitness and your recovery and your health and your muscle mass, you are wasting your time and money. It is 100% the thing you need to be focused on when it comes to maximizing your hormones, your hormone outputs, just overall recovering your insulin sensitivity, resetting your brain mechanisms. The list goes on and on. There is no better recovery tool than getting a fantastic night's sleep consistently. I've done episodes on this. Go back and listen. Number two, nutrition. We're not going to get into a big nutrition podcast today. We've done other episodes on nutrition. I think that the benefits of nutrition when it comes to recovery are self-evident. I think, you don't need a whole lot of convincing that eating healthy and making sure you're getting enough protein, whole food, protein-based diet is an absolute necessity. We could get into nutrient timing and so on and so forth, but listen, sleep, nutrition, and number 3, stress management. You're gonna hear me talk a lot about how there are some benefits for recovery tools, really only in the context of getting you out of fight or flight and sympathetic activities of your nervous system and getting you into more of a parasympathetic dominant physiology. What I mean by that is it gets you out of this stress physiology and more into like a rest and repair physiology, which AKA equals recovery. So managing your stress is one of those things that, yes, it's also free, right? I guess nutrition isn't really free, by the way, but we're going to say there's 3 big pillars, right? That if you're not taking care of these, we shouldn't even be having a discussion. You shouldn't even be thinking about spending money on anything else, right? Maximizing your sleep, dialing in your nutrition, and uh, making sure you're paying attention to managing your stress. And we've done episodes on this as well. There are lots of useful tools for managing stress. We're going to talk about a few of these today in the recovery episode. But overall, when you think about managing mental emotional stress, there's a lot there. There are things that sort of rise to the top that you hear a lot of people talk about, such as breath work, meditation. Obviously, you're going to manage stress a whole lot better when you're getting a great sleep and dialing in your diet. So they all play in together. But listen, there is no therapy or miracle device that's going to save you if you aren't making sure you're putting a lot of mind share and effort into those 3 pillars. So when it comes to recovery, I see people, they tend to overcomplicate it, because sleep is number 1, the thing you should be spending your time and energy on figuring out how to maximize. The second is nutrition. Okay, making sure you're eating a protein-based whole food diet, like, without worrying about supplementation even, or any sort of, like, pre-workouts or any of this shit. Just, like, dial in your nutrition consistently and managing your stress, right? Getting out of fight or flight in that elevated cortisol state, and getting into the more rest and repair, parasympathetic rest and digest, rebuild type of physiology. Breath work, journaling, walking, prayer, spending time with your family, taking vacation, etc. So if you don't have these 3 pillars in place, everything else is just out the window. So without this foundation, then you are wasting your time and energy. So, but without further ado, we're past that. Okay. So we're going to get into my top 10 love it or leave it. I just thought up, or I, s- I thought about the 10 things that are out there today that I think even myself like have tried or have used or have, and things that people spend money on, things that people have questions about, the most popular things out there. So I grabbed like my top 10, and we'll talk about these, whether these are useful, are they a waste of money? Are they actually beneficial when it comes to building muscle and recovery? So let's dive in. Get a sip of my coffee and let's go. Number 1, cold plunges and ice baths. I'm going to start out by telling you that I have a cold plunge. I have one in my backyard. I had a cheap one for a while and used it, and now I invested some money into one where I have a chiller. I actually really enjoy my cold plunge. I don't actually enjoy it so much when I'm in it, but I enjoy how I feel after. But here's what I've discovered through listening to others speak about cold plunges and what they have discovered through their clinical research. I have read some research on it, and then my own best practices. Listen, like, cold plunges are everywhere right now, and they do blunt soreness and reduce inflammation. However, you don't necessarily want to be doing that if your goal is to build muscle. So, um, What they found as far as like benefits of cold plunge though is that you do get a dopamine hit or dopamine rise after that cold water immersion. It can improve in a blunt soreness and whatnot. Um, but it can blunt the hypertrophy signaling. In other words, you might be working against your goals if your goal is to build muscle. It means less muscle growth. So my verdict is it's a leave it. You don't need to be cold plunging. Let's put it that way. Don't waste your time and energy if your goal is to build muscle and increase fitness. If you're somebody who is a competitor, you play sports, you do high level competition, or you just like me, you're like a athlete, you're a junkie when it comes to like athletic challenges. I have this device and I use it when I am pretty beat up, and on my off days, I'll cold plunge. Also, first thing in the morning on occasion, I will cold plunge in order to help give me a little dopamine boost as part of my morning routine. But that's the only reasons. Cold plunges do not help you build muscle. They do not help you burn fat. They do not make you skinnier. They do not increase your fitness. So it's pretty much a leave it unless, like me, you want to use it for a little bit of a like a dopamine hit, and you get the benefit of just doing something hard, doing something your body says don't do this. That cold water is going to feel like hell, and it does, but afterwards you feel fantastic because you get this dopamine hit. Yeah, and guess what, going into cold water is stressful. It is not a recovery type of endeavor. So if you're using it for reasons of like, hey, when I feel beat up, I'm using it to blunt soreness, and um I like the dopamine hit I get from it, good on you. But if you're using it in order to, help you recover, so to speak, it doesn't really work that great. So my advice is to actually leave it. Now, sauna. This is one of the oldest recovery tools in the books. So it triggers what you've heard of, maybe people talking about heat shock proteins, boosting cardiovascular function, helping with detox. It actually makes you feel really good. I love a good sauna. It's not a bad idea to do, even on days you work out, a little sauna afterwards to increase your blood flow. It can reduce perceived soreness, but listen, it's not like directly building muscle, right? It's more about, if your goal is to increase your health and longevity, it's actually a pretty good tool. But it's not a direct hypertrophy hack, nor do you have to like spend a shit ton of time in there. You see a lot of guys that are spending like 30, 40 minutes, an hour, like that is excessive. You don't need to be doing sauna like for more than 20 minutes. Me personally, 15 minutes, I'm all set. Nor do you have to be doing like 200 degrees plus. Like that's pretty wild Fahrenheit. Or sorry, yeah, is it Fahrenheit? No, that's crazy. Is that, yeah. So we're talking, oh, sorry, like what are we talking temperature wise? I don't even know. You don't have to crank the temperature up till you're ready to like pass out and throw up all over yourself. I think that's a little bit crazy. I know that there's a lot of practices, spiritual practices that use for centuries have been doing these ceremonial type of saunas. But listen, if you're going to do stuff like that, fantastic. You want to see the white buffalo in the sky. Make sure it's guided. Make sure you're with people that know what they're doing. Me personally, a nice hot sauna, 15 minutes, I'm good to go. I like it because it feels good. I don't use it because it helps me build muscle. I do notice, and I'll just throw this out there, I did notice a little bit of an improvement in my HRV when I use sauna. So I do think that it does have some cardio benefits, but it's a leave it as far as like needing it to build muscle and increasing your fitness. However, if you like to use it for potentially the longevity benefits, good on you, but not necessarily a necessity. PEMF mats, number 3. These pulsed electromagnetic fields, they're supposed to increase circulation, charge your cells, and heal you energetically. It does sound fancy, but the evidence is actually pretty weak with this stuff. It's mostly anecdotal. You'll get very little high quality data behind this type of practice. I think it's supposed to replicate the Earth's magnetic or energy magnetic fields that you're supposed to be able to like be exposed to if we spent more time outside. Me personally, go outside, get in the grass with your bare feet, ground yourself, be in nature, breathe the fresh air, get some sunshine in your eyeballs and on your skin. That's plenty of electromagnetic frequency for me. It's one of those things that I wouldn't waste your money on this. Walking outside and moving your body does far more for your recovery, for your mental, emotional recovery status, getting you from fight or flight into rest and repair. So my advice is save your money. Use the free resource, which is the outdoors. Number 4, IV therapy. These are popping up everywhere. There's a lot of IV clinics out there. I'm sure you've seen. Listen, I think these are pretty cool if you're dehydrated, if you're sick, if you are, coming off of being, chronically chronically sick for a while, just totally run down. I do see that there is benefit for this, whether that you're getting some NAD drips, some vitamin drips, some sort of like Myers cocktail of vitamins, minerals, nutrients, antioxidants. Probably some pretty good benefit there. I have used those before myself. If you're like an elite athlete, competing and you're having to like kill yourself to get to your next match or competition, cool. But for 99% of the world, like you don't need to be doing IVs in order to recover. Generally speaking, like hydration, electrolytes, food, you're probably pretty good. You don't really need to be doing IVs all the time. If you have a clinical reason for IVs, cool. If you are doing this because you think that you're increasing your fitness, your recovery, and your health, probably not necessarily. So I would say save your money unless you're, sick, run down, and you have a clinical reason, go for it. Number 5, percussion guns. So these are some things that I've definitely tried. I have a percussion gun at home. I inherited one, I think, from my mother-in-law, and my daughter uses it all the time and percusses herself. It's hilarious. They feel amazing. It actually feels pretty great, to blast your muscle bellies and your hips and whatnot if they're tight and sore. I don't really know if they increase blood flow. They can decrease soreness perception. And what I've discovered through a lot of neuroscience research is that what you're doing, and we'll get a little bit scientific here, is you're activating a lot of what's called mechanoreception in the body. You're hitting all of these receptors in your joints and in your fascia, and what it does is it reduces nociception. In other words, it reduces pain signaling. So when like for example, if you hit, okay, here I'll give you an example. I was at my gym in Maine. We got a lake house in Maine, which is the best thing ever. Like talk about like nature benefits. It's been absolutely amazing. And we have this fantastic little like bodybuilding gym up there. It's amazing. It's got like all the old school like bodybuilding fitness equipment, like metal plates. They have like 100-pound metal plates. It's fucking awesome. I was on the leg press, unloading and loading up the leg press, and I dropped a 45-pound plate on my fucking toe, on my big toe. I swear it's probably like, if it's not majorly bone bruised, it's a bit broken. But it was so embarrassing. Like when I did it, I just stood there and gritted my teeth. I didn't make a sound. I didn't want to embarrass myself. Like how stupid was that? I dropped a plate, 45-pound plate on my toe. But the first thing I wanted to do was like grab it or rub it. Even afterwards, like tape it. That sensation of compression or taping or rubbing it, you're activating what's called mechanoreception. They're like mechanical receptors. If you hit your thumb and you're trying to drill in a nail and you smash your thumb, the first thing you're going to do is you're going to put it in your mouth or you're going to grab it and rub it. You're activating mechanoreception. The same thing happens with these percussion guns. Okay. In the moment, like if you're doing it before you train, for example, you want to hit your hips and your calves and your quads like pre-workout, like fucking great. go ahead and do that. You like the way it feels? Awesome. But don't confuse temporary relief with actual recovery, right? So the effect is very short lived. It's the same thing doing active recovery, active mobility. So if you're doing like pin and stretch type of stuff, stretching has the same sensation. So that temporary relief. Um, so like I love it as a tool in the warm up and or if you like to do it in the cool down, but it's definitely not building muscle. Uh, I'm somebody who I have fantastic mobility. Like I can ass to grass squat, I can pistol squat, I have full range in my shoulders. I can overhead press, overhead squat, etc. But I did not mobilize myself to be able to attain that mobility. What I did is I strengthened those ranges through load, which is I think by far the biggest misconception when it comes to mobility and flexibility is like, okay, great, you have these ranges, but are they ranges you have control over? Do you have actual um, motor control of these ranges, and do you have strength in those ranges? And if you do, they're useful. If you don't, they're absolutely useless. You're actually vulnerable in those ranges. So I tell you this because like the feelings of stiffness, soreness, and pain in a lot of cases, like you just need to get your body moving through ranges of motion under load. Not necessarily like smashing it with a foam roller or a lacrosse ball or with a percussion gun. And again, I'm in favor of those things. I teach patients how to do those all the time, but never in my language am I teaching like, hey, these are going to improve your performance, health, and recovery. Like, no, not at all. These help you be able to do the things you need to do for you to increase your recovery. So, such as exercise, um, you know, re- uh, you know, loading your tissues, etc. So let's talk about massage. I love massage. I personally use massage. I'm way overdue for a massage, and it's been around forever. It reduces stress if you're getting the right kind of massage. The kind of massage that I get is probably not reducing my stress, honestly. I'm in a lot of cases getting more of a sport massage, and I don't know what's wrong with me. I do enjoy the pain, I suppose. It doesn't lend itself to that parasympathetic activity, which actually helps recovery. So, listen, if you think about it, if you're getting more of like a massage where you're actually relaxing and like you almost fall asleep and it's enjoyable and you're resting and yeah, that's actually going to help your recovery. Think about it. It puts you into that restful recovery state. It plain feels good, right? Uh, does it speed up muscle repair? Not necessarily, but again, if it lowers stress, gets you into more of that parasympathetic rest and repair, it certainly is helpful. Um, if you're getting a massage that's like acutely painful and you're gritting your teeth and sweating and your blood pressure is elevated, like that's not recovery. That is not helping you build muscle, recover, or whatnot. Now, again, listen, if you're trying to heal an injury, if you are, injured or trying to increase, I guess, range of motion in your shoulder, for example, if you have adhesions, I don't know. There's definitely time and place for like massage that's more uncomfortable. But listen, if we're just gonna talk today in the context of like recovering, actual recovering, increasing your fitness and building muscle, massage is great. Aggressive massage is not. So if you like massage and you're getting like a nice restful restorative, let's call it restorative massage, great, good on you. I think it's a good tool. But yeah, save those like acutely painful sport type of massages for far and few between when you do have any sort of like injury or something where you need more manual work on the injured tissue. Let's talk about compression garments. So Normatex, etc. You've probably seen those. They're everywhere. You see these at like races and recovery centers, etc. And what they're supposed to do is help with venous blood return. And do they do that? Maybe a little bit. Do they reduce soreness? maybe a little bit. Do they actually improve long-term recovery and adaptation? No. So unless you're like running marathons and like you need to do whatever it takes for you to be able to get back into your shoes and running as soon as possible, like, okay, maybe there's some use there. Uh, yeah, listen, for people who are just generally lifting weights, going to the gym, doing some cardio, there's like zero payoff. So this is something you can for sure like don't waste your money or waste your time unless again we're talking about you're an elite performer and they actually do help you get back on the court or back in your competition sooner. Fantastic. But for the generally performance health recovery, no, that's a leave it. Okay. So we kind of hit on this with massage, but I did for number 8. I'm going to talk about myofascial release and foam rolling. It's a tool that people swear by, but here's the mistake a lot of people make: is it like doesn't actually break up fascia. You're not actually like smashing up fascia and like tearing up scar tissue and all that shit. Like that's not actually happening. What it's doing is it's creating like a temporary neural effect. We talked about that mechanoreception override. It mutes the nociceptive activity or the pain signaling, the soreness, okay, by smashing those mechanical receptors, which can, in fact, like temporarily increase range of motion, reduce that soreness perception. So they can help you again with warm up, cool down, etc. But it's not one of those things you need to be using for like a main recovery strategy. So if you think like, oh my God, I should be foam rolling more, I should be stretching more, like you're probably not, I wouldn't feel guilty about that. It's not actually going to help you build more muscle or increase your fitness. But again, it depends what your goals are. Number 9, Kinesio tape. A lot of us have seen these, CrossFitters, including myself, used to use this stuff all over their body. You've seen all the colorful tape all over like the calves and the shoulders and the arms, etc. The idea is what it does is like lifts the skin and improves circulation, helps recovery. But in reality, like research shows it has very minimal effects. Like at best, it helps with that proprioception, which is like your body awareness, where the joint space is, etc. So listen, if it helps whether it's a placebo effect or not, if it helps, I feel the same way about compression gear. Like if you think it helps you, fuck it, use it. Why not? Who cares? If you think it helps you, it's going to help. Uh, if you think it's going to help you recover and build muscle and increase your fitness, like don't waste your money. It is not going to do that. Uh, it doesn't work as a recovery tool. Like situationally, if it gives you awareness and it gives you awareness of the joint to help you recover from injury, go for it. I do see useful practices there clinically, but for the general public, just general fitness, nope, not so much. Number 10, I thought I would talk about something that as a recovery tool, not a lot of people talk about, and a lot of people don't practice enough, including myself. And those are deloads. So you've heard of people doing deload weeks or having deload week programmed in their schedules, in their lifting programs, etc. So nobody wants to do this who really enjoys going to the gym like myself. Like I love pushing myself. I love lifting heavy. I love crushing myself because you get that like sense of satisfaction. A lot of people will feel this when they like sweat a lot. So deload weeks do not do that, right? Deload weeks, you take a planned reduction in your volume and in your intensity. A lot of lifting programs will do this every 4 to 8 weeks, which it allows your body to like super compensate. It literally helps your body catch up and adapt. Um, if you skip deload weeks too, if you're really, really pushing the envelope with your loading, it can lead to injury and stagnation and burnout. So what research has shown, deload weeks are very valuable. They're really valuable for the athlete's mindset as well. Taking a little bit of a break helps you mentally. A lot of us have felt this when it comes to like vacations. You could do the same thing with your programming. taking a little bit of time off in order to allow your body to rest, repair, relax, deload, literally. And the verdict for me for this is like this. I absolutely love this as far as a recovery tool. It's the most underrated recovery tool, I believe. And again, it's free. Go figure. There's uh, a theme when it comes to the best recovery tools. Most of them are free, outdoors and sunshine and, you know, taking deload weeks, breathing. Yes. So deload weeks are a fantastic recovery strategy. Myself, I am guilty of not doing this enough. Uh, I did take, I think, 2 weeks off yes, I took 2 weeks off in February this year when I had the hair transplant done in Colombia. And yeah, I did it as an experiment also, just be like, hey, I always preach about how you take a couple of weeks off. And as long as you're maintaining your nutrition and not going sideways with your lifestyle, you won't lose any muscle. You won't lose any gains. And sure enough, I didn't lose an ounce. I didn't lose a thing. I mean, once you start getting under load and whatnot in the gym, you might feel a little rusty, but right away you bounce back to where you were. I tested my body composition before and after. Literally nothing changed. It takes a while for your body to like start to lose what you gained. It does feel like you lose it a lot faster than you gain it. But taking deload weeks, you're not going to lose your fitness. You're not going to lose muscle. In fact, you might uh, increase your fitness and your ability to build muscle because it is such a valuable recovery tool. If you are used to like continually breaking your body down, it's very useful. So really, those are the top 10 that I came up with. I hope those were helpful. I think a lot of people can relate to those. So if we let's zoom back out before we close out today. What really matters, of course, stress management, because there's no like PEMF mat that's going to help you reduce stress, like actually getting outside, getting your feet in the sand or the dirt, breathing fresh air, getting sunshine, meditating, and doing breath work outdoors. Like your no PEMF mat is going to reduce your stress like that. Nutrition, there's no supplement, no IV drip, or anything that's going to replace proper nutrition, a whole food protein based diet. And sleep, there's no like compensatory device in existence that will ever replace the restorative benefits of sleep. So those are your foundational things. Everything else is like optional. I think like deload weeks would be my top one. Um, there isn't a whole lot else that you're going to get major benefit from. Like, some of those I said, like, sauna gives you, sauna can help you relax a little bit. Massage helps you relax a little bit. The rest of it, you probably don't need. So your takeaway is don't waste your money on gimmicks. Um, I love the things that matter, like sleep, nutrition, stress control, smart programming, deloads, etc. Unless it brings you joy and you really like actually enjoy it and feel benefit from it, just don't waste your time and money. Recovery literally isn't sexy; it's discipline, and you'll find a consistent message there when it comes to building great health, performance, recovery, and your metabolic movement and mindset. The sooner you accept that, the faster you'll grow, the sooner you'll improve. So I hope you gained some value from this. As always, thanks for tuning in to this love it or leave it recovery episode. As always, share it with a friend who's spending way too much money on recovery hacks. Please like, share, subscribe, leave a review. Always open to suggestions on what you'd like to hear about. And make sure you guys have an awesome week and stay weaponized.